And what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the footy tipping that I'm doing on this channel. We're heading into round 4, hot and steaming, I guess. I don't know what to say, but we got games to tip and we got tips to game. Why not? You may have not noticed, but I got new social media animations. So, you know, the ones that I made before, they're gone, and I got new ones that look much fresh. I'm just kidding. I got my erases off. So that's probably the most unflattering thing you've seen. But anyway, it happened, and now I can speak normally, so now I can make my round 4 tips video. So let's get straight into it. Let's head into the first game. Let's do it! Alright, first game, Sydney versus the Western Bulldogs. Now, the Western Bulldogs did beat the GWS Giants last week, and that was a huge win for them considering that they haven't been playing that well in the past games prior to that game last week. But I still think the Sydney Swans will be able to hold out the Western Bulldogs this week. It is at home, and I feel like Sydney are just... They haven't really been out of games this year. Like, I think the only game they lost was by a goal against Essendon, and then they beat Adelaide by 3, and they beat North Melbourne by like 10 or 11 or something like that. But yeah, they haven't really been out of games. They're not really bad of a team. It's just, you know, they just get really close sometimes and you think they're going to lose, but they either do lose or win by a close margin. So I just think the Swans will be strong enough at home to beat the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs will put up a good fight, but I still think the Sydney Swans will win this game by a margin of 17 points over the Western Bulldogs. Next game, we have the GWS Giants versus Collingwood Friday night. Humongous game. The GWS Giants are apparently bringing back 3 good players, like Toby Green's in. I think Lockie Whitfield is still in after passing a concussion test this week on the track, and someone else is in. I forgot who it was, but I just feel like Collingwood have had the same team for a lot better connection than the Giants, and I know 3-star players are coming back for the Giants. Whoop-de-doo, whatever. It seems to always happen against Collingwood. But anyway, I still think the Pies will be strong enough, and I think if they do win this game, it will really show that they are really a premiership contender this year, especially with the Giants bringing in 3 of their good talents in. And yeah, I think this is Collingwood's first away game away from Victoria in a bit, so I really feel like they'll want to win this game to prove themselves, so they're not just like, oh, we just win in Victoria, blah blah blah, against these teams. They want to show that they can beat big teams away from home, so I feel like this will be the perfect opportunity, and that's why I feel like they will take this for granted and beat the Giants by 25 points away from home. It'll still be a huge game, so I just think the Pies have been playing really excellent, and their backline is probably one of the best in the AFL right now. They've kept teams to like less than 40 points for 3 weeks now, so good on them. So if they can do that against the Giants, who knows? Port Adelaide versus West Coast. It's another game in the hubs for these two teams. Port Adelaide hosting it at Metricon Stadium, and I think they will win this game. I feel like the Eagles are just in a dry patch and really want to get back home to Perth. They're not really liking it up there in Queensland, so my prediction video that I did, well, that's just blown out the window. I said the Eagles will cope the best in the hubs. It looks like they won't. As much as Port Adelaide was sloppy a bit last week, they still got over it in like the second half, the sloppiness, and were able to control and be more mature in the game. And I feel like the Eagles have definitely lost that maturity during this hub stage, so I think the Power will be able to win this one comfortably by 33 points over the West Coast Eagles. Next, we have St Kilda versus Richmond at Marvel Stadium. This is Maddie's match, so make sure you support it in whatever way you can. I think there's donations that you can do. It's going to be a good one. It'll be interesting to see if the Saints will come out firing, especially after last week. But I feel like Richmond have a lot more to prove than the Saints do, even though the Saints, you know, are supposedly a team on the rise. I still feel like Richmond will want to come out this week more hungry than the Saints will. I still think it'll be a close game, and that's why I've gone Richmond by 14 points. I still think they just would like to get back on the wins list, especially after last week's performance. And they've also got Dusty back in, so it'll just be a good match to see if the Saints can hold the Tigers down, but I don't think that will happen. I feel like the Tigers will get over the line by 14 points. It's really hard to tip against the Tigers. Essendon versus Carlton is the first Saturday night game. Boy, wowee, we've had a lot of suspension building up to this game, including Connor McKenna on his testing. He's now got 2 negative tests in a row. If he gets a third one, I think he's able to play or something. Maybe not. I think he's still in isolation or quarantine. A lot of people feel like Essendon will win this game, but I am going for a surprise turnaround tip. And, the AFL nowadays, anything could happen. Literally anything. Gold Coast are just winning everything. So, therefore, I think that Carlton will actually win this game. I thought they played an amazing brand of footy last week. Although they almost lost it in the second half, I feel like their first half will be able to run. If they get on a roll, the Blues, I feel like they'll be able to run the Bombers off their feet. And even though Essendon are a fast team, I feel like Carlton will again want to show their maturity and want to show that their maturity from last week in the final stages of the game wasn't just a 1 week thing, that it will build during the season. So I feel like they'll want to show it again in this game, and therefore I'm going the Blues, but only by a small margin of 8 points over the Bombers. Gold Coast versus Fremantle is next, and well, what can we say about this game? Gold Coast are going to win. That's what I'm going to say about this game. I don't think Freo just are not clicking at all. I feel like they're another team. It's the Perth teams that really just want to head home right now and just start clicking. And I feel like when they head home, which they will do soon, and they'll be able to play in front of crowds, get that energy back that they need, I feel like it will all go back to good for them. But right now I feel like Fremantle and West Coast can't handle the heat in the hubs. I feel like, and especially Fremantle, I mean, a lot of their players aren't doing enough, it seems for me, and I feel like they're relying on their big time players, especially Nat 5. For as Gold Coast, their team cohesion is absolutely astonishing considering what it's been in the past couple of years. So therefore I'm going to tip the Gold Coast Suns by a huge margin of 42 points. That's it, boys. I'm going out the window. I'm just flying out. I don't even care about these 20-point margins anymore. I'm going 42 points. Next week I'll bloody go 50 if I think about it. On Sunday, to kick us off, we have the Lions versus the Crows. The Lions coming in hot favourites for this game, and I also do think they will win. I feel like the Crows, they just, again, I know they're in like sort of a tanking phase. I hope they do put on more of a fight than they did last week against the Suns, but I don't know if they will. I would feel like the Lions will win this one by a margin of 26 points. I feel like they're really starting to make their home games in Queensland count, which is good because sooner or later, especially in round 6, they'll be away from home and they'll have to play teams away from home. So it's better to get wins now, just so you can have a bit of momentum when you're going away. You can feel good about yourself. And right now, that's what the Lions and the Gold Coast Suns are doing in Queensland. So therefore, I think that, the Lions will beat the Crows by 26 points, the margin. Melbourne versus Geelong is next. And boy, oh boy, I would love Melbourne to win this one, but I just don't see them doing it. I feel like Geelong are going to run them riot, especially after last week's performance. They almost came back from the dead, and I feel like they want to fix their mistake from the first half of last week. The Cats had come out all guns a-blazing, and I feel like Melbourne is a good team to do it against. Right now, Melbourne are not clicking at all. Let's be fair here. They are definitely not clicking. They're struggling. They only beat Carlton by 1 point. I think they lost. Did they lose in the first round? I'm pretty sure they lost in round 1 as well. And then what happened last week? Oh, they didn't even have a match. Oh, wow. It's kind of big, but I still feel like Geelong, they're in that footy mentality more than Melbourne are. Even though Melbourne's game got postponed last week, I feel like Geelong is still in that greater footy mentality. And a lot of people say, oh, but Melbourne have a week off, so they'll be fresh as. But Geelong, they're a great team. They're a great, greatly built unit team. And I just feel like they'll beat the D's by 15 15 points this week. Yeah, I still feel like the D's will put up a little bit of a fight because, you know, they're coming out fresh from a week away, but I still feel like the Cats will want to prove themselves better than they did last week, and I feel like they'll just want to come out as a better team than they did last week because they know they're not about, you know, coming out in the first half and just getting absolutely slaughtered. So they want to make sure that that mentality from last week changes. They go into this game fresh, ready, and they will beat the D's by 15 points. Last game of the week, we have Hawthorn versus North Melbourne, and if you have forgotten, on Sunday I'll be doing a live watch along. And no, I will not be showing the game because it is illegal to do so because it is copyrighted by the AFL and Foxtel. So I don't want to get the stream taken down and then my channel to be looked at. Oh, hell no, I don't want that. So just come along, watch along with me, grab a drink, grab whatever food you want. It's just a 6-10 time slot. Just chillax and we'll have a good time. Ask me anything you want, doesn't matter. Just go off the hooks. Anyway, I think Hawthorn will win this game by 21 points, although North Melbourne, I think, will have players back in, especially Cunnington. I think he's come back in. I'm not too sure 100%. But I think Hawthorn will just be too good, especially after what they did to Richmond last week. I feel like they'll have a lot more ball control in this game than North Melbourne would like to get. And I feel like they'll just outmuscle North Melbourne, just get them over. I feel like Hawthorn will also have more speed than North Melbourne, like the Swans did last week, just when it mattered. And I feel like Hawthorn are just a more polished team as of now than North Melbourne are. So they'll get the win by 21 points. So cheers guys for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you for the round wrap up on Monday or Tuesday. We'll see what happens. Cheers.